Okay, so good afternoon everyone, and I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share with you what we are doing in the Philippines. So I titled my presentation, Usage and Recognition of MOOCs, the Philippine Experience. As introduced, I am the Chancellor of the University of the Philippines Open University, and also currently the President of the Asian Association of Open Universities. For my presentation, I will be giving a brief background about my university just to have some sort of understanding why we are venturing into MOOCs. Unlike the previous presentations wherein the governments, your governments are heading or putting in much resources and initiatives into the development of the MOOC platform, development of the courses. In the case of the Philippines, it is a university-led initiative. Therefore, I will be giving why my university is leading this initiative. Also, I will be discussing the imperatives for the offering of MOOCs in the Philippines. Something like, why do we need to develop our own MOOCs? Isn't it enough that we just enroll in the MOOCs that are being offered by the big MOOC providers? So why are we into this? Also, the status of our initiatives and the strategies that we employ to facilitate recognition of learnings acquired through MOOCs, as well as the challenges that we encounter. Now, for the background, we are an open university, but we do have a building. We do have a physical campus, and this is located in Los Baños, Laguna. That is something like 2 hours south of Manila. So we were established as one of the constituent units of the University of the Philippines. This is the only national university in our country, the University of the Philippines, and we are one of the 8 constituent units of this national university. Established in 1995, we are a public service university, a research university at the same time, and a graduate university, because what we offer are mostly graduate degree programs. We started doing distance e-learning. That means to say that while we were established in 1995, we were doing distance education in the first generation mode of distance education. That means to say that there's the printed materials and the face-to-face tutorial session for our students in a learning center, University Learning Center. But in 2001, we started translating our programs, our courses into online mode, and we became a fully online university in 2007. And with that, we were able to get students in more than 70 countries, accounting for about 24% of the total enrollment of the university. We started implementing MOOCs in 2013, and we were mandated by a law in our country to assist both the higher education sector and the technical vocational sector so that they can also offer their programs in the distance mode. This is through the Republic Act 10650 or the Open Distance Learning Act. As I mentioned, we are also currently the President of the Asian Association of Open Universities with more than 60 open universities on its members hosted. These are the programs that we offer. 3 undergraduate, 26 graduate, diploma master programs, 2 doctoral, 73 MOOCs, including the new ones that we just started offering last July 2018 on business analytics, as well as a number of non-degree and non-formal courses. So why MOOCs? These are the imperatives, and I would like to look at it as the university's social responsibility. The ability to do as a public university and as a national university. So the first imperative, I will be discussing the details of these imperatives. First is the Philippine response to the Paris message, the forecast education needs in the country, that's in the Philippines, and the education agenda 2030, the service to the overseas Filipino workers, the demand of Industrial Revolution 4.0, as well as the continuing professional development for different professions, especially the teachers. We also use this as a strategy to enhance the quality of education in our country under the MOOCs as OER models and as per mandate by the law. And we also look at MOOCs as our contribution to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, the other 16 development goals in addition to that Sustainable Development Goal number 4. So the first imperative is the Paris message. It was issued in 2015, participated in by over 150 leading policymakers, experts, stakeholders from the higher education sector from more than 55 countries around the world. What exactly does it say? It predicted that by 2030, there will be more than 400 million students who will enroll in higher education. The global education community has to respond to the scale and urgency of demand for accessible, affordable, and quality higher education through a range of open and non-formal learning activities, and one of them is MOOCs. There's no way, I don't know if you will agree with this assessment, there's no way residential or conventional universities will be able to respond to this projected need for higher education. But this is an opportunity for open universities and open education programs like MOOCs to respond to this projected demand for higher education. Our response is through the offering of massive open online courses as well as the development of open educational resources for OERs. These two components of our open education practices. The Paris message also mentioned, there is no time to lose, now is the time for action. In terms of the forecast education needs of the country, vis-a-vis the Education Agenda 2030, in the Philippine context, we have a population of 105 million. We are a young population. This is our median age, with a life expectancy of 69.2. There is a big sector in our population who will be needing not only higher education, but also lifelong learning programs. And this is something that the university should respond to. And we are also looking at MOOCs as a strategy by which we can respond to the lifelong learning needs of our population. Majority of our population are in the working age, therefore we have to provide for that need. This is still part of that inclusive education and lifelong learning for all. This is the kind of education system in the Philippines. And if we are look at it from the lifelong learning framework, it's from the womb to tomb, and what happens in between. So we have this formal education system, but there are also those who are not part of the formal education system due to various reasons and constraints. I will be showing you a figure in the next slide, but the thing is there is a space not addressed by the formal education system. There is also that space wherein there is a need for continuing professional development, especially for the teachers. And hopefully, those spaces are something that MOOCs should be able to address. That's why I put here, modern ICT make possible the inclusion of these sectors who are not part or no longer part of the formal education system. And the free online courses should be able to make that opportunities. This is the data of the education scenario in the Philippines. I started here with the grade 1, that's the first step in the basic education system. Out of 100 students who enrolled in this formal education system, only 14 were able to complete the college degree. Okay? So what happens to the rest of the 100? There will be dropouts. We have to take note that this figure, we got this figure at the time that the country is not yet implementing the K-12 program. We have started implementing the K-12 program 2 years ago. So we can imagine that there is a probability that this number, the number of college graduates, still decrease. So, again, what shall we do with those who are no longer part of the education system, who drop out from the educational system, we are hoping again that MOOCs will be able to address their needs. We also look at MOOCs as an opportunity to provide the reskilling programs for the overseas Filipino workers. We have 2.2 million Filipinos working outside the country, and we need to provide them with the opportunity so that they can continuously increase their knowledge, improve their knowledge, their skills, so that first, they can improve their skills, their knowledge, their performance in their current work or job. But at the same time, this is an opportunity for them to continuously learn some new skills perhaps, so that when they so decide to go back to the Philippines, they have something with them and can be reintegrated into the economic and production system of the country. So what we're thinking here is that while working outside the country, they can still enroll in MOOCs that the university is offering. The other imperative is Education 5.0 for Industrial Revolution 4.0. Of course, we open here that we are now under Industrial Revolution 4.0, and the education sector should respond to the needs of the industry, the changing world of work, wherein the machine, the equipment, big data, they are now governing our industry. And are we, the education sector, providing the skills and the knowledge required in this work environment? Or are we fast enough to respond to the needs of the industry? Now it's Industry 4.0. My own thinking about this is that, and we open here, people talking about Education 4.0 as a response to Industrial Revolution 4.0. But the thing is, we should not only be responding to the needs of the industry. We, in the education sector, should be the one to shape the industry, not to respond to the needs of the industry. Therefore, we should be ahead. We should not be talking of Education 4.0, we should be talking of Education 5.0. Or if you don't want to have that higher lip, then we can probably say it's Education 4.1 or whatever, as long as it's not 4.0. But the thing is, what is missing? What is missing in the world of work now, in the Industry 4.0? When we look at the description of what's Industry 4.0, we often see the term machine, communicating with machine, the Internet of Things, big data, intelligence, artificial intelligence. But where is the role or the space for humanism, for values, for environment, for all the things that should matter to us as people and to the world that we live in? So, therefore, there has to be the contribution, the big role of education in shaping the world of work. And this we can do, the education sector can do, through the continuing professional education or programs that we can provide to the various professionals working in the various industries in our country. The fifth imperative for MOOCs, the reason why we develop MOOCs in our country, is we look at it as a strategy for quality education. As I mentioned earlier, we have just started implementing the K-12 program in the Philippines. And because of this, there have been many major changes in the courses being taught both at the secondary and at the tertiary level. So what are we going to do with regard to the training of the teachers, with regard to the content of the new courses? How can we provide massive training to the teachers who will be teaching the new courses? How can we provide content to the new courses so that we can be assured that we are providing quality educational or instructional content to our students? So we look at MOOCs. We look at MOOCs as one, and a strategy of massively training our teachers for free. For free. Because sometimes cost is also a hindrance or something that can prevent our teachers from undergoing training programs. But when we offer it as MOOCs, probably the cost concern will no longer be there, or at least at the last level when you list the problems that our teachers would probably encounter. We are also advocating the MOOCs as OERs model. I think it was also described earlier, wherein the MOOCs that we develop are part of the credit courses that the teachers are teaching or the students are enrolling in conventional universities. Therefore, if the students are enrolled in one course, for instance, we have 2 or 3 MOOCs that will cover that 1 3-unit load or credit that the student will enroll in a conventional university. So, under this model of MOOCs as OERs, the residential students can enroll in MOOCs as part of the course that they are taking under the conventional instruction. And therefore, what will happen in a face-to-face meeting like this, the teacher will probably be working on assessment or just providing additional explanation to what has happened when the student learned or enrolled in the MOOC. We call it something like a flipped classroom, but instead of the student just watching a video, this time the student will enroll in a MOOC, which can probably cover 5 lessons that they will have to take throughout the term. So, at the same time, these MOOCs can also serve as a training ground for the teachers who will be teaching the content. So this is something that we are doing now. So if the teacher is teaching a new course, he or she can first enroll in a MOOC and be trained on the content, on the teaching of the course, and also on the assessment of learning. Part of the things that we provide through this model is even the study guides that we are using, the materials that we are using, the assessment mechanism that we are using, we are providing them for free to the teachers and to the students. The next imperative is the role of education in attaining the 16 other SDGs. We believe that at the center of each goal under this 17 Sustainable Development, at the center of them is education. Before we can attain each of these goals, we need to educate people. We need to make them aware how important is this, what are the strategies so that we can do this. Therefore, our advocacy is that for each SDG, there has to be a MOOC associated with it. So, I put here a result of a survey conducted by UNESCO. Universities increasingly collaborate on sustainable development issues, engage with sustainable development networks, and look for examples on how they can integrate the different SDGs into the curriculum, research, campus management, etc. What we're trying to say here is that universities should not be isolated, even if these goals are not really directly related to education. The last is, I have mentioned this is our mandate under the law, the Republic Act 10650, and in that law, it was specifically mentioned that we need to provide leadership, my university need to provide leadership in the development of open distance learning in the country and in the appropriate use of information and communications technologies in support of quality tertiary education. So we are also doing this through development of MOOCs and open educational resources. Now for the status of MOOCs, this is our MOOC platform, we call it Model, and this is powered by Moodle. So we are still true to our advocacy of using open source materials, that even our learning platform, we are also using the open source platform. We call it MODEL to stand for Massive Open Distance E-Learning. These are the MOOCs that we are offering. We started this year. We started offering certification programs. So like for instance, we have certification program on open distance e-learning for administrators, for teachers, and for technology personnel. So the idea is for, if an individual will take a set of MOOCs, like for teachers, we have here model 101 or the theoretical underpinnings, models, designing learning, in open distance e-learning, course materials development, assessment. So you will be taking this set of MOOCs. Then you will be given a certification for teaching open and distance e-learning. So we have developed these several certification programs. We also have one for child rights protection and promotion, which was developed with UNICEF. Technology for teaching and learning, this we developed with UNESCO. E-service management, this we developed with funding from the Asian Development Bank. And this is one example, this is the first model wherein the MOOCs, like for instance, the 5 MOOCs under Fundamentals of Business Process Outsourcing are equivalent to 2 courses with credit under the conventional instruction. So we have those sets of MOOCs under the e-service management. And these are the new certification programs that we are offering. This is on business analytics for the business track and for the IT track. So we started offering it last July, and so far we have recorded 1,000 enrollment and completion. Likewise, we have independent courses which are not part of the certification program, like the Filipiniana, Asian Arts, Interlocal Government Cooperation, the Android apps development. This is how our platform looks like. We have featured courses, and as I mentioned, these are the courses that we are currently offering. Now the strategies for MOOC recognition. As I mentioned earlier, we have developed MOOCs that are components of credit courses. And this is for educational institutions to recognize the MOOCs or the learnings acquired through MOOCs under the accreditation of prior learning framework. So like for instance, if these are already equivalent to credit courses, then there is a big chance that educational institutions would give credit to this MOOC. So I put here the example of service management program, business analytics, and the Filipiniana MOOCs. Another strategy, so that's for the universities. This one is for the industry, partnership with organizations and industries who consider MOOCs as a form of training for their manpower. So in here, for the e-service management program, we have developed this in partnership with the IT and Business Process Association of the Philippines. Therefore, when the learner has the certificate that they have completed the MOOC with us, then the company who are members of this association will recognize the MOOC completed by the student. We were also able to get the endorsement from our Commission on Higher Education for the massive open online courses that we offered for open and distance learning. We have to note that under, it's not only us who offer MOOC, we also have our Technical Education and Service Development Authority who also offer MOOCs for the vocational courses. And the good thing about the vocational courses is they already have established national certification which is recognized worldwide. And we are now in the process of assisting TESTA so that they can also improve the offering of their MOOCs. The Philippines is also a part of the regional initiative for the Asia MOOCs portal. So we have this landing portal for the Asian MOOCs, and we have conducted the research on the quality assurance for MOOCs, the perception of the different stakeholders when we do credit transfer for MOOCs. We will now be starting the piloting for the evaluation of the QA framework for MOOCs and the open badge system for the certification programs that we hope the Association of Open Universities will be able to offer starting 2017. The challenge that we face, same thing, the sustainability or business models for MOOCs, recognition of certificates, still, this is still a problem in the Philippines, but we hope that we can continue to address this. This is something that is still a big challenge because although we really don't want to look at the completion rate as the indicator, as the only indicator of success of MOOCs in the Philippines, we still need to see or design our MOOCs such that we can keep the student engaged in the learning activities and in the process be able to increase the persistence rate. These are the reasons that we thought were making the attrition rate in MOOCs very high. Lack of an accepted QA framework. We are hoping that we are addressing this. Designing teaching presence into the course. Again, it's all about learners' engagement. Some areas in the country are still digitally excluded. Something like 48% will still have access to the internet, and we still face this challenge of the predominance of the intellectual property culture, especially among our academics. Direction, we hope to host other MOOCs offered by other higher education institutions, and we are also hoping that in the near future, we can have a MOOCs towards a degree. And then, as I mentioned, for MOOCs to SDG and continue lobbying for MOOCs certificate recognition by the different stakeholders. Overall, what we really want to see is make open education or the massive open online courses learning work for the Philippines and for the region. And I think that's my last one. So thank you very much for listening. Maraming salamat.